clean some of the stuff here. I want to dump a couple things here. Need my van, I need space. Actually got a pickup to do a little bit later. Let me get this board off here. So we've got one chip here basically, where it's a chip. Okay. Got a few chips on there, not too bad. Gold corner chip and so on. A couple chips on the back. Just cut some of the easy wires off while I'm here. Not really that heavy, these wires anyways, but yeah, that's all I really want off this that board. That's going to shred. We'll have this wash machine here. A copper motor. I'll try to cut this off here. I think that would come out that easy. It doesn't. These bolt cutters, none of them are working too good. All need to get changed, they're all worn out. Maybe get a socket in here, maybe. We cut it halfway here, and I can pull it up from up there after. Got a copper mortar there. Yeah, I was lucky to find two wash machines identical with copper mortars. Never find copper mortars, so rare. Yeah, the problem with stupid things all. It's all falling apart. Okay, well, this thing here is actually pretty good too. It's got some good stuff inside it. It's all brass. See that? Brass with contacts. Okay, so the rest can go in the truck. Some wire here. Okay. Okay, let me just gonna put in that van. There are these two here, and then a couple pieces of metal, and that's it. So I'm gonna dump it, and I gotta pick up some stuff in Vancouver. Okay, we got a couple switches. This is what the other one had. The other one had all this in there. Look at that difference. One, the second one. So that's all my salvage here. The two motors, the two faceplate skins, a little bit of contacts there. Rest is gonna go in the shred. But it's actually a motor here. Pull the motor off here. It's an electrical motor. I don't know if I got the motor off the other one, but it's a simple little motor. I'll pull the other one off because I think I missed it. Oh, okay, maybe there was another one. Two of them here. One must have fell out, so a little bit better. Okay. I took the wire out, the mortars. Okay, perfect. Just wait for the sensor. Just gonna move the dolly. As long as it's not touching the sensor, I'm okay, so looks good. Actually, this dolly's gonna stay here. Okay, so some of the things I'm taking, not the computer, not that piece of aluminum chair or a little table, but I may unscrew the computer cases quickly while I'm here. Depends on my time. 3:13, so okay, a little bit of time. Okay, so I'm gonna basically strip this computer and just get rid of the case right away while I'm going there. And move stuff twice. Don't know what the prices are either, so they're gone for basically 10 days, so prices could suck, hard to say. We'll soon find out. And we'll just keep talking about copper, dropping. Battery. Okay, I don't know if I have a battery. Let me see, Stemma. Okay, I stripped all 3 computers. Couldn't find a battery, so I had to do it all by hand. So I got 1 printer, a couple of water dispensers, 2 washing machines, a gate, a bike, fan, fridge. Okay, I'm gonna take this now, dump this, because I need the vehicle empty. So, at least I got something to dump instead of one thing only. Well, that's it for now. Yeah, that's it. Some can come in handy. It's a small hitch, so for a little car or something. Okay, stay tuned. Let me go dump. Scrap yard and let you know what the weight is, at least what the totals are for what they're paying right now anyways. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, we're approaching 1 scrap yard. See how busy it is there? A little too busy, I guess. Nothing other than ordinary, I guess, and that lot's not too busy always. A little further up here, check this next yard out. Not too busy. How's the ever recycling? Yeah, there's a few people there. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, took the scrap back. Had 760 pounds of scrap metal. Ended up being $49.50 for that load. Wasn't that much in here anyways, but it wasn't too bad for weight. Just wanted to show you this area here. This is Edmonton Kingsway. It used to be a bar in the corner here, and people used to hang out. It used to be a value village in this development here. Now they developed the whole block basically with 3 or 4 big high-rises in here. So it shows you this is Burnaby itself, central Burnaby type thing. It's getting built up so big around here. There's 1, 2, 3 towers, and then a smaller low rise, and then across the street where there used to be a nightclub, we're talking about 25 years ago, 30 years ago, that's gone. They built that high rise there, and then they built 4 high rises on that property that used to be Highgate Mall. Now, is it Highgate Mall, I think, or not sure if it's Highgate Mall, but it used to be a mall in there. You know, the old, like, you know, 70s style malls where they had the mall everywhere and the parking's all in the front. It was kind of like a horseshoe type mall. Now everything's high density now, underground parking, and the stores are not the same no more because, you know, the parking, no one wants to go in underground parking no more. It's so complicated, and you have to get a ticket sometimes. They have 4 or 5 levels or more, and they're huge. It's not like the old days where you could just park in front of a store, go in there, do your shopping, come out, see your car, and you're gone. No, it's all parkades now, mostly anyways. But right here, it's a big Highgate. Was it Highgate? I can't remember. Highgate. Not sure if that was the original development, but anyways, long gone. And then they built all along here. They tore the community center down here. There's a community center here. So, like I say, the high-rises are coming everywhere. There used to be a school there. Those high-rises there used to be Burnaby Central, I think. Used to be a high school there. Now it's a bunch of high-rises there. I think 3 high-rises. So this area has changed big time. It's not the same anymore like the old days. The old, real old days are gone. You know, another probably 20, 30 years, you won't recognize the city. Because what it is it's getting higher and higher, and it's starting to spread out. So that means it's going to be basically all these main roads will be all commercial semi-high rises to real high rises. Further on, it used to be Save On Foods. Well, there used to be a lot of other stores there, but you know, it used to be called Save On Foods, and then they end up calling Cave On Foods because the opening day they had there, the parkade collapsed into the store on opening day. No one got hurt, very lucky. The 10 or 15 cars fell in the store. The roof gave out, the parkade gave out, but called it Cave On Foods, but that's long gone now. That's all been dug out and torn down. There's 2 big high-rises there already, and still building more high-rises. So just shows you, I'll show you in a few minutes as we get closer, but showing you how things are changing here. All these little kind of strip things like houses, 2-story commercials are all gone. Car lots, pretty soon the car lots can't survive here because the taxes are going to be so high. They tax you the density of the area. So if it's zoned high-rise here, they're paying almost high-rise taxes here. It's got to a point where, you know, they cannot, you know, establish a business. All the stuff's going to go. And all these little apartments behind here, eventually they'll all disappear. Like I say, the taxes will outrun the rent. Rent will never cover it, you know what I'm saying? So it got to a point that they push you out. You know, big corporations push you out completely, and then developers come in here and buy it all up and then develop it. You know, and then next thing is, you know, you're paying a fortune. The city's got, instead of making, say, $5,000 tax, they're making $300,000 tax. That's kind of the difference, because each unit they're paying tax. Not just like I say, one small building, like to take 2 stories. No, 150 units are paying tax. Maybe 300 units are paying taxes. Anywhere from $12,000 to $2,000 tax. It's a big income for the city. But we're getting closer to Metro Town area. Let me get, I'll get back to there in a second. Metro Town, this used to be a Safeway store, shut down. They're talking about, you know, expenses and costs, but you know, land is so valuable, right? They can't operate a store here. Taxes are probably too high, and the wages were high, and the cost of food, and just they basically shut down. It was a Safeway. But I like those kind of stores where you can park in front. See what I mean? Parking in front, you do your shopping, come out to your car. You're not looking through a parkade trying to find your car or trying to find parking. It's simple, right? But these kind of stores are all gone now. That'll be high-rise. This whole block will be high-rise. Then they'll work on this block, right? You can see even behind here, there's a lot of housing in here that used to be, you know, 2- and 3-story apartments. Everybody got pushed out. They raised the rent really high. Then the developers went in there, brought the buildings, tore a block down, and built, you know, 2 or 3 big high rises. So, but luxury high rise, not rentals. All these high rises are new. These were like apartments from the late 60s and 70s, all disappearing. So it's, you know, it's changed, right? I mean, it's nice to see a nice, you know, nice looking building and everything. I'm not against it or nothing, so don't put me wrong. It's just how our city's changing so fast. Here used to be a Sears. Sears used to operate here originally. If you see the tower there, it says Sears. That was the first Sears, and it was basically a big parking lot. They had a gas station here. Then you had Nabob was there, a coffee company was there, Kelly Douglas. There's a bunch of different businesses here. But now, like I say, Metro Town is starting to advance more. They built these big glass towers here. The Rogers building was the first one. Then there was a second one, and then a third one. And then these high rises here that you see now on this side, you got the first one and second one. That used to be the Cave On Foods. Save On Foods used to be called, they called it Cave On Foods. It was there for, I don't know, maybe 30 years, maybe possibly, close to or so. Tore it all down, it was basically a whole block gone. And they put 1 high rise, 2 high rises, and still building a bunch behind it, right? So it's showing you what it is anywhere there's Skytrain lines, you know, there's lots of transportation, it's getting really luxury and very high end. So it's going to be to a point where it's only for the rich, because even the working cannot afford it. I mean, just the rents for apartment building is like probably $2,000 and up. You know, how can a guy afford that? You have to have a good paying job to get $2,000, because there's no industry here. There's really no industry, to be honest. It's just like restaurants and There's no big factories where you can, you're making good wages. I mean, some of the guys in construction are making good money and stuff like that, but it's a small percentage. There's 90% of the people are making near minimum wage, basically. Well, maybe not 90, maybe I'd say 60% of it. And then, top 30 are making a lot higher. So that was the Sears here. It was brought out by Concord Pacific. That's an Asian company that brought all the Expo Lands, where all the old Expo used to be. They developed all the Expo Lands, all that empty land. But originally the land that was there was taken away from the people. The government took it away to do Expo, so they basically paid them peanuts for the land. They repossessed all the land, built the Expo, and then tore it all down. It sat for years and years, and finally they sold it to one developer for a lot of money. That time it was a lot of money, but the original owners actually lost. People that lived there originally had the businesses and factories for the last 50 to 100 years. Family businesses were gone. Anyways, that's the 1 high rise, the 2 high rise, the 3. There's a few more, and I don't know how many there is, but it's showing you the developing, right? This is Metro Town here. It's kind of nice. Got lots of different stores, and there's hundreds of stores, and it's different phases of buildings joined. Like there might have been 1 phase and 2 and 3. This was one big mall in multiple levels. There's like hundreds of stores in there. And like, see, this block will eventually come out. See, how can you compete paying taxes for that building compared to this building? You can't. The land is still land, right? The same. You're still going to pay a lot of money regardless. There's value, land value you're paying your taxes on. So if the land value is 100 million there, that's obviously going to be more because there's buildings on it, but it goes by land value. So that land value is 100 million, but with the buildings on it, could be $1 billion value, right? So this is another one. This was developed by Boza. They built this one here, then they built one behind it after. And I think they built behind there also 2 other high rises. But showing you like it's really disappearing. Here's a development here I was telling you about. But they built 2 high rises there, at least 40 stories plus, maybe 50 stories. And then they have 1, 2, 3, I think 3 more high rises going this side. So all the land is so dense, right? It's not going to be, how some places they build a big high rise and a low rise, maybe it's a green space. No, this is all living space basically. There'll be retail and stores on the bottom, right? And then here, as you get here to Burnaby, another section of Burnaby, can't remember what this area, but this is the mall I'm telling you about. The mall I showed you by Edmonds there behind us was similar to this mall. Basically a bunch of low-rise stores and maybe a Safeway or something, whatever they had there back then. That's the same on here, but it was similar to this, but it was a lot bigger piece of land. But they'll take that land, develop it all completely, and it'll be like maybe something like you see here, 5 high rises on there in all different heights. On that piece of land is probably worth, could be $200 million maybe, possibly, that piece of land there, right there alone. I don't know how big it is, but we're in a high, it's high rents and taxes here, but this is not even downtown Vancouver. We're talking about Burnaby, it's outskirts, another municipality. So if that was downtown Vancouver, who knows what it'd be worth. This is some crazy figures I've heard. There was one property sold for like $500 million, and it wasn't even that big. Nothing like this. This is huge compared to what they sold. It was not even downtown, it was in the Cole Harbour area. So showing you the demand is really high for developing, and most of these units are sold before they're built. They'll have a sales booth there, and then they'll sell probably 80%, and then the build, right, or even 100% are sold out. What they were doing is they were shopping these buildings overseas a lot, so all the foreign investors are buying them. So when they developed the building, most of the building was empty, or they tried flipping them again, try to make more money, because the project takes 3 years to build, and you were set in there a locked price. 3 years later, you could be sitting at maybe 200,000 more in profits. So people are speculating that, and they're buying those, buying them a little or nothing down, whatever they, maybe 10 or 20% down they wanted. When it came to, basically before it went to the owner's hand, it was already flipped to someone else. They would do that in Vancouver real estate, where they would say, okay, I'll sell your house, or I'll buy your house, let's do contract for 5 months. in 5 months you'll get your X number of dollars. So people are paying, you know, they're paying, you know, going price of time, but they're selling the houses before they hit their name for $500,000 to $1 million more. They were doing, it was totally illegal what they're doing. So the government got wind of this and made it legal. That's why you have to have 2 real estate guys representing a house now. You know, before it used to be one real estate guy could sell the house, buy the house, sell the house, and was flipping all over the place. But no. So the people who are in the houses thinking they got $1 million, and all of a sudden they change hands for $1 million more to someone else before the guy put a penny out. That's what was happening all over Vancouver like that. Real estate was so crazy. Anyways, just a little bit of history, a little bit of the area. This is Burnaby. Central Park is here. This goes back to about 1880s, I believe, or older. Used to be a military firing range here really early. It goes back to about 1870s or 80s, because you can get really early bullets all over here. Those big early lead bullets all along this area, so pretty early. And anyways, that's it for now. I gotta do a pickup right now. I have I think 2 fridges, a microwave, some odds and ends. I was supposed to pick it up a couple weeks ago, but I was on my holidays, so you guys said no problem. He's a good guy, he calls me all the time. And then I have to go to another location, pick a fridge, a stove up. No, not a fridge, I think a stove, and some odds and ends, and then some computers and all that. Okay, stand by. Got a floor polisher, very heavy duty cord. We also have a really big heavy duty mortar. Nice copper mortar for sure. Get a microwave, got the cords, this, a square. And this is a vacuum, a hazmat vacuum. He said it works perfectly. Needs a hose. It's a Survivor, so it's a good one. It's probably good for even asbestos. Just have to change the HEPA filter in it to certify it, right? But it's one you put on your back. It'll come in handy for something. And 2 fridges here. One's totally brand new, conked out. He said. They said just chuck it out. Unrepairable, the guy came, said forget it. So 2 fridges, microwave, power back that goes on your back, hazmat, 4 polisher, 3 cords, some miscellaneous metal. Nice pickup. I got a stove here. It's a gas one, so it's pretty heavy. Off that plug. Okay, I got what else I got here? I got computers coming out shortly, but just a few things here I gotta grab first. Then I'll grab the computers after. Okay, they gave me a couple cell phones, BlackBerry. Over there. Gave me this tank, solid aluminum tank with a metal frame that's holding it up. Valve on the top is out. There's a valve on the bottom which is in. I think they were using it for diving, as a diving compressor tank. I'm thinking the way it's, you know, it's based like that. He thought it was for power tools. I don't think so. I think it's a tank for diving. So what they did is they made their own air. That's what I'm thinking, because some people could do that, and that's a storage tank for a diver's tank. Anybody have any input on what it is? Non-magnetic aluminum. The frame is steel, which can be separated very easy. A couple of straps. I'm just worried about is it a dual cylinder tank, or is it one valves on both sides? Maybe one's an intake compressor and one's the outtake to go into your tanks. Maybe anybody know about this? Let me know. Got a stove. You saw the stove, toaster. Did get this barbecue aluminum grill. He's gonna sort the computers out. We're not doing computers today. No room anyways, so I just don't have room on my yards right now. So anybody could give me some input on that, because that the tank is probably over 100 pounds, maybe 150 pounds. So 2 guys could barely move it. It's got to be at least 300 or 400 pounds total weight. So So I'm thinking the tank could be 150 pounds, 100 pounds, 150 maybe. Not sure. That's gonna be heavy wall steel, like heavy wall aluminum tank. Any have any input? Let me know, guys. Okay.